When vulnerability gets used against you, they beg you to open up. They tell you, you can trust me. They want to know why you're guarded, why you're so private, why your walls are so high. They keep knocking at that hard shell until eventually you let them in. And sometimes the moment they finally get access to the version of you that you were protecting, the mask slips. The world is my case study. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here to make you think. Human behavior is my research. Every conversation is evidence. Every choice tells a story. Every pattern reveals something deeper. Welcome to Season 3 of Spoken Roar. I'm Livinia Godfrey. There's something interesting about vulnerability. Everybody says they want honesty. They want you to communicate. They want you to open up. They want you to tell them what hurt you. But not everybody asks for access to your heart knows how to handle what they find there. And sometimes the information you share becomes the blueprint for exactly how to hurt you. You tell somebody what broke you before. You tell them what betrayal looked like. You tell them what made you stop trusting. You tell them what you promised yourself you would never tolerate again. And then one day you realize they're repeating the same behavior you warned them about. Maybe with different details, different circumstances, different excuses, but the feeling, familiar. That's why some people stop dating. That's why some women are choosing to stay single. Not necessarily because they hate love, not because they're bitter. Sometimes they're simply tired of repeatedly rebuilding themselves after giving the wrong person access. And it isn't only romantic relationships. Men can break hearts. Women can break hearts. Friends can break hearts. Family can break hearts. Anybody you genuinely love has the ability to hurt you because the vulnerability creates access. That's the risk of loving with your whole heart. I've learned something about that. I would rather know that I showed up genuinely than spend my whole life becoming cold because somebody else mishandled me. I can say I gave my all. I tried. I showed kindness. I love from a real place. But kindness does not require unlimited access. And forgiveness does not require repeated opportunities. There's a biblical teaching about not casting your pearls before swine. Think about the symbolism. Pearls are valuable. They're not supposed to be thrown everywhere just because someone asks for them. Your vulnerability is valuable too. Your story is valuable. Your trust is valuable. Your heart is valuable. Everybody does not deserve immediate access to it. And maybe that's where some of us get confused. We think being authentic means revealing everything. It doesn't. You can be genuine and still have boundaries. You can love people and still observe them. You can care deeply and still make somebody earn deeper access to you. Because words can create an image. Actions reveal the person. Stop listening only to what somebody promises and watch their feuds. Watch their patterns. Watch how they behave when they're disappointed. Watch how they respond when you tell them no. Watch how they handle your boundaries. Watch whether their actions continue matching their words once they become comfortable. Sometimes we talk so much that we explain exactly how someone needs to behave to convince us they're different. Then instead of observing who they naturally are, we accidentally give them the script. So sometimes, stop talking, pay attention, people reveal themselves. Maybe not immediately, but patterns eventually become difficult to hide. And when somebody shows you something important early, don't spend 6 months trying to negotiate with what you saw in a week or two. That's another lesson. Stop staying longer than necessary trying to turn potential into reality. Potential keep you trapped. You're loving who somebody could become while repeatedly getting hurt by who they currently are. Those are two different people. And loving yourself changes what you're willing to entertain. Self-love doesn't mean nobody will ever hurt you again. It means become less willing to abandon yourself just to keep somebody else. Ask God for discernment, not paranoia, not fear, discernment. The ability to recognize what's standing in front of you without allowing loneliness, attraction, chemistry, promises, or potential to rewrite what you're seeing. I used to believe getting my lick back. Oh, you hurt me? Part of me wanted to feel exactly what you made me feel, but I learned something fast. It's not my place to do karma's job. Consequences don't always need my assistance. Sometimes the strongest response is removing your access to me and continue with my life. No revenge, no competition, no trying to prove what you lost, just distance. Because somebody hurting you does not mean you have to become somebody you don't recognize. Don't let another person take you out of your character, but don't confuse staying in character with staying available either. You can remain a good person from a distance. You can wish somebody well without inviting them back. You can forgive and still lock the door. And after enough disappointment, I understand why somebody might say, the last person I gave my chance to was the last one. No relationships, no situationships, maybe not even new friendships for a while, because eventually emotional exhaustion starts sounding like I'm good by myself. And maybe they are. But here's the deeper question. When somebody mishandles your vulnerability, should they also get the power to decide whether you ever experience healthy love again? That's where healing becomes complicated. Protecting yourself is necessary, but there's a difference between a boundary and a fortress. A boundary decides who gets access. A fortress decides nobody ever will. And only you can determine which one you're building. Maybe the lesson is trust slower, observe longer, reveal carefully, believe patterns, respect red flags, leave sooner. Love yourself enough to stop negotiating with behavior that repeatedly disturbs your peace. Because vulnerability was never weakness. Was never the weakness. Giving valuable parts of yourself to people who hadn't earned them was the risk. Your softness does not have to disappear. It just needs discernment standing at the door. The conversation ends here. The thinking shouldn't. I'm Livinia Godfrey. This is Spoken Raw.